this lesson, we will measure lengths in centimeters, millimeters, and inches. For part A, we're asked to measure the length of the line segment AB using centimeters as a unit of comparison. This is a centimeter ruler, which means each large unit has a length of 1 centimeter. To measure the length of segment AB, we line up point A with 0 on the ruler, and then measure the length out to point B. Notice how the length of the segment AB is between 5 and 6 centimeters. Also notice how each centimeter is cut into 10 equally sized parts or pieces, and therefore each smaller length, or the distance between each small tick mark, is equal to 1/10 of a centimeter. So to determine the length, we count out to 5 centimeters, and then count the number of small tick marks out to point B. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 small tick marks out to point B, which means the length is 5 and 7/10 centimeters, which we can write as a decimal or a mixed number. As a mixed number, we have 5 and 7/10 centimeters. As a decimal, we have 5.7 centimeters. For part B, we're asked to measure the length of base B of the isosceles triangle using millimeters as a unit of comparison. And the given ruler is a centimeter ruler. So we need to know that 1 centimeter is equal to 10 millimeters, and therefore 1 millimeter is equal to 1/10 of a centimeter. We learned from the previous example the distance between each small tick mark is equal to 1/10 of a centimeter, which is also equal to 1 millimeter. So to determine the length of base B, we line up one end with 0 on the ruler, and then count the number of small tick marks out to the other end, which is here. And again, each centimeter is equal to 10 millimeters, so we have 10, 20, 30, 31, 32 millimeters as the length of base B. Now for the last example, we're asked to measure the length L of the base of the box using inches as a unit of comparison. So now we have an inch ruler, meaning the length between each larger unit is 1 inch. To begin, we line up one end with 0 on the number line, and then measure the length. We'll notice how the length is between 4 and 5 inches. To determine the exact length, we need to cut 1 inch into smaller parts or pieces. So from 4 inches to 5 inches, we'll divide this inch into smaller equally sized parts or pieces. If we divide it into 2 equally sized parts or pieces, each smaller piece is equal to 1/2 an inch. If we divide this into 4 equally sized parts or pieces, each smaller unit is equal to 1/4 of an inch, and this is what we need in order to measure this length. Notice how the exact length is 4 and 1/4 inches. For some lengths, we may need to cut the inch into smaller parts or pieces, but for this length, cutting 1 inch into 4 equally sized parts or pieces was enough to determine the exact length. We may also recognize that 1/4 is equivalent to 25 hundredths, and therefore we can also express 4 and 1/4 inches in decimal form as 4.25 inches. I hope you found this helpful.